I'm going to call this meeting to order. Roll call.
McKnight,
Here.
Myers,
Here.
Roa,
Here.
Vogel,
Here.
Kinder.
Here. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public comment?
None.
Notice of executive session meeting.
There was an executive session immediately prior to this meeting.
For legal advice, matters of concern for the city, as well as personnel.
Approval of minutes. Have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Discussion. Roll call.
McKnight,
Aye.
Myers,
Aye.
Roa,
Aye.
Vogel,
Aye.
Kinder.
Aye. Communications.
None.
Managers report.
Just a couple of items. So for rates no requests, so far this year we've had 13. No legal fees yet, but I anticipate some coming. ABC updates. So there were some vacancies for the beautification committee, water authority, sewer authority, shade tree commission. We have actually received a number of applications, 5 for the beautification committee, 2 for the water authority, 2 for the sewer authority, and 2 for the shade tree. So we will email the department chairs, or the ABC chairs, council liaisons to work on setting up those interviews. As far as the Walkworks grant is concerned, so it turns out that the Pennsylvania Downtown Center sent it to me to sign, so I did sign that, so no action of council is needed. And then Renna is here just to give a quick update on some of the initiatives that she's been working on.
Good evening, council. I was gonna stand at the podium, but
Yeah.
I feel like I've got a good view of you all right here. Would you prefer?
What's better for you, Kevin?
He doesn't care.
Be where you want. Yeah, so just wanted to share some work that I do with the Meadville Independent Business Alliance and the downtown business community in general through my role as the community development director. So the city, we are actually a dues-paying voting member of MEBA. That's $100 a year that we pay to MEBA to be a member. That gives us full voting powers in MEBA, and that goes to supporting all of the First Friday events that they do every year. As part of that, I also attend all of the monthly MEBA meetings. There's, a multitude of reasons for this. So one, it allows me, and then by way of the city, to stay informed of events that are happening downtown, or just the experiences of downtown business owners to stay, allowing me and the city to stay in the loop on those things. I also then have a section on the MEBA meeting agendas to share any news or updates from the city to get the word out to downtown. And lastly, it also just provides that direct communication channel with MEBA and downtown businesses for me to be there. People know who I am. They know that they can contact me, reach out to me if they ever want to talk about anything. And actually this year, I agreed to co-chair one of my first Friday events. So in May, they landed on the theme of Celebrate Meadville for the May 1st Friday, since May 12th is Meadville's birthday. Will be 236 years old this year. So I'll be co-chairing that with Josh Sherritts from the Historical Society to put on some Meadville-oriented programming for that first Friday. And also, as part of those First Friday events, we do our best to accommodate any requests from the businesses for their events that they have on, like any street closures, street sweeping, auxiliary police presence. Sometimes, it's like 3 p.m. on the day of the event, and I might be calling Nathan up being like, hey, I know your guys are trying to leave for the day, but could we please get this thing out here. So we do try our best to make things happen for them to help their events be successful. Additionally, the city is a member of the Chamber of Commerce. And the city has sent several employees through its Leadership Meadville program. So there is, like city investment in these programs and communicating and networking with businesses and industries in the area. The city, we are also contributing to a marketing video that is being spearheaded by the Visitors Bureau. So Meadville Medical Center has been part of this, Allegheny College, I believe Accutech and some other businesses also have come together to try to get kind of like a promotional video for Meadville and the city together. So we are partnering on that. And also we just recently started on our city Facebook page a business highlight once a week. So we created a Google form that if businesses are interested in being featured on our Facebook page, they can fill out the form with their information, and then once a week, every Thursday, we'll be highlighting a business. This past Thursday, the first business that we highlighted was JT Steam Table Restaurant Catering. Seemed to do very well. We got like over 100 likes on it, over 20 shares, got a lot of positive feedback on it, and I have posts lined up through April, I believe, so far. So folks can find that form on our, it's pinned on our Facebook page if they're interested in that. And just in general, I am downtown a lot. People can always feel free to stop and talk to me. I will often chat with people, and I see them when I'm out and about. So, yeah, some of the work I'm doing.
That's right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joanna, for being that liaison and keeping us up to date with the needs of our downtown, right? All right, old business, ordinance, third and final reading, zoning ordinance. Can I have a motion on the third reading?
Motion. I'll second.
Discussion?
An ordinance of the City of Meadville, Crawford County, Pennsylvania, amending the codified ordinances of the City of Meadville by repealing the existing zoning code of the City of Meadville, Article 1301 through 1314, and adopting a new zoning code for the City of Meadville and adding the new zoning code to the codified ordinances of the City of Meadville as Articles 1301 through 1314 for general purposes of making the city's zoning regulations consistent with the Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code, the state laws governing zoning regulations, and of providing for the regulation of land use within the City of Meadville in a manner consistent with the developed land use patterns within the City of Meadville Comprehensive Plan of 1993, and the suitability of lands for future use and development, and for providing for a repealer, severability, and effective date.
Anybody have any questions? Roll call?
McKnight,
Aye.
Myers,
Aye.
Roa,
Aye.
Vogel,
Aye.
Kinder.
Aye. Can I have a motion on the final reading?
Motion.
No, that was the third. I have a motion on, it says third.
Third and final.
Third and final.
Okay.
Okay.
I had read them both because I didn't say final, and last time everybody was like, do it again. Is that sufficient?
That is sufficient.
Okay.
I will note too that I'm gonna be, and I'm pulling up right now, but I will offer to Marianne an advertisement that we can, a post-adoption advertisement that can be issued, legal notice that will cure any procedural defects in the adoption of a new zoning ordinance. So we'll put that in place.
Fantastic, thank you.
I just did, okay, no, do you have any questions about this?
I do not, thank you.
Should have had someone else. say
Bless
that.
you. I missed who seconded that, I'm sorry.
There was not the final
It was only,
one.
it was the
There's only
third and
one.
final, and it
one
was
reading.
Larry and then Jim.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you,
Yeah.
sorry.
No problem. New business, discussion marijuana ordinance update.
So before you is an amended version of the marijuana ordinance that was passed a few years ago. Now that it's actually been put into practice, some clarifying and cleanup needed to be done based on what we're seeing in practicality. Those changes are before you. There's just some minor changes. Tim, do you want to go over those?
First change is that the definition of drug paraphernalia is one which is to align with the state code. Secondly, within the enforcement procedure, or the liability procedure, the city ordinance gave an opportunity to charge a parent for a violation of a minor, which I do not believe to be appropriate or legal. So we're suggesting that we remove that. Thirdly, under the penalty provision, there is a language in there to assist the district justice in the collection of costs and fees that are assessed as a result of violations. So nothing substantively changed other than the recommendation to no longer have the ability to charge a parent with a crime for the violation of the child.
And that's unless they knew about it? Is that what I read on here?
That, it's an option to include that as a separate, but that in the amended version before you has been removed completely.
Okay.
So, yeah, I guess I have a little concern with we adopted the $300 fine as the penalty, rather than a misdemeanor. I think 30 days in prison, is intense, right? If you're not being charged with a misdemeanor, offense, the option to be put into jail for 30 days is doesn't sit super well with me, right? If you can't pay the $300. I know that we've talked about, I understand that there's maybe a desire for encouraging people to pay and having a kind of or else. We've talked about like community service or something. I understand what the considerations are there in terms of administration, but I think I'd be much more comfortable with something like that than 30 days in jail.
But it really isn't 30 days. It's not more than 30 days. It could be 1 day.
But it could be 30.
It could be 30.
It could be 30. Like that, to spend 30 days in jail for getting caught with weed is like, could really ruin someone's life, even if we're taking away the misdemeanor charge, right? And I think that still concerns me.
Do you have any thoughts, Tim, on how that? I'm just curious.
Well, I would need a consensus of council as to which direction you want to go. That is the ceiling of what it is that we can provide punishment for. The district justice has requested specific language for this in order to collect on these items. If we wanted to go for less time, I'd say that we could. But that's you need to let me know.
So I will say the risk is that if the district magistrate is not comfortable with the language in the summary offense, he will push for it to be filed as a misdemeanor instead.
Yeah.
So we would stop filing under summary offenses, local ordinance, and it would be a misdemeanor offense.
And that would have more negative consequences.
Say that again, because, so, what you're saying is that if someone doesn't like the language in the ordinance that we put forth, they have the ability to say, you know what, I'm not gonna go buy it, it's a misdemeanor. That's what I'm at, like, is
They're
that what
gonna
you're
go with
saying?
the other option that's presented to
If
them.
if the district justice refuses to accept the district justice can refuse to accept the charge. If you say this is what I want it to be charged under in the city of Meadville, and the district justice refuses to enforce that, then it's as if there is no charge whatsoever, which is going to put the police in the position that, you know, if a charge is to be filed, it's going to have to get into the state code. So if you want, I think practically, if you want to have a city provision that is less than the state code, that is going to be enforced, that you should consider going with the recommendation of the individual who is going to be enforcing it.
I would be curious to know like what Judge Pendolino's like range of tolerance is, right? Is it this exactly as put in front of us or nothing?
So
Or is there some, right?
This is the language that comes out of the third-class city code that says if you're going to have a violation of a criminal action, this is the range that is there.
Mm-hmm.
And it is the suggested language that we've received as well.
Sure, I think I still wonder, is there a range of tolerance that might overlap with ours, right? 30 days seems intense. I don't want to put people in jail for marijuana possession at all, but right, like if it could be less than that, maybe we could find.
But if you read the ordinance, the 30 days would kick in only
If people can't
penalty-
pay. So people who don't have $300 available to them have no choice but to spend up to a month in jail.
They can make payments.
Oh, yeah, there you go, can they make payments?
They can, absolutely, there's payment arrangements that are available.
Right.
I'm not interested in penalizing poor people if we can help it, for me.
And when you said, the people who enforce it, right? Like this was brought to us by our police department, right? They were the ones also who backed this, and this is language. So I'd also like to know their opinion on it, right? Because I understand, you know, I agree with Autumn, right? Like to get the threshold, but I'd also like to know what our police threshold is, right? Like what are they thinking about this? Is it okay if we make it 15 days a week? What, you know what I mean? Like none, you know, community service so we can get some work and things that, you know what I mean? Like what is the, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we're discussing it, let's discuss it and see what all of the options are.
This was a discussion point when the ordinance was passed
Sure.
about, and it was, I think, intentionally left out the provision about the 30 days in jail because of council's concerns, which at that time, the police department was comfortable moving forward with that, and that's why there wasn't any pushback on their end about what appeared in the ordinance. Now that it's going before the judiciary, then things have changed. I don't believe that the police department's position has changed on that language, but we can confirm.
And so this 30 days wasn't in there before, is that what you're saying?
That's
Correct.
correct.
And we're trying to put it in on recommendation from Pendolino, is that what you're saying? He wants 30 days in there? Or he just wants something
Some
else?
sort of teeth to have back up and allow them to collect.
I see.
Some incentive for them to be able to collect the 300.
And I think that's fine. I would just hope we can find common ground that is, you know.
I mean, if you want to propose another time period and we can, you know, work on a draft, this isn't before you for adoption this evening.
Just
This is
discussion,
just
yeah.
discussion. So if there's a consensus among council that you're willing to go to 5 days or 10 days or 12 years, you know, let me know which direction you want to go. And we can't go beyond 30 days.
Right.
But
So do you think that is, the 30 days is Judge Pendolino's, that's his choice, or it's the state's? I just wanted to
I
clear.
believe that is the language to the third-class city code regarding criminal violations for local ordinances. That is what we're authorized to do. That is the ceiling of what we're authorized to do. And it's my understanding that the judge would like us to go there. But if we want to go with something a little bit less, and see, you know, I just need to know how far less you want to go.
Tim, another question. Could this be amended to say, together with judgment or of imprisonment of up to but not more than 30 days? Or is that just superfluous?
It's the same. It's superfluous. It's the same.
Okay.
All right, if we were paying, if someone was
paying the minimum wage that they would receive, $7.25 in the state of Pennsylvania, for every hour that they're in jail, they could be in jail for 1.72. They'd be there for a little over a day and a half. So we could say 2 days, and you've served your time that is monetarily commensurate with the fine that we're setting here, right? Assuming that your time is valuable and worth something, and you know, you could take 2 days off and not lose your job maybe. So recognizing that's a low floor, but can we see if Sam would entertain 2 days and or maybe make a counter? I don't know. How do we feel?
I honestly don't believe that we're gonna really have much of an opportunity to negotiate this with the judge. We've received some direction from him for what it is he would like to see in terms of enforcement of the ordinance and application of the ordinance. I think that if we come up with a solution that you all believe is to be reasonable under the circumstances, we put it into place, and we're gonna have to see how it flies. And we don't necessarily negotiate these things with, the judiciary will not negotiate it with us. They will tell us what their response is after it's been adopted.
What about probation until all fines are paid?
Oh, that's a good one.
I don't believe we have the power to enforce that, to require that under a local ordinance. They can do it under state codes, but we don't have the power to do that under the third-class city
Well,
code.
isn't there something that, if I'm not mistaken, there's a way that they could sign almost like a promissory, you know, they're fined and sent to jail, but as a release, they sign. I'm quite sure if we looked into it, because I know it was done here before, back in the 60s, 70s, because a lot of my friends would get in trouble, they get their citation, they'd be on probation until their fines were paid.
I mean, there are payment arrangements that can be put into place, and you know, maybe we're just not using similar terms, but you can stay under the jurisdiction of the court until such time that the full fine is paid. I mean, that would happen now under a payment arrangement. It wouldn't be true probation. You wouldn't have to check in with the probation officer or whatever, but you would stay under the jurisdiction of the court until such point that the fine was paid.
I mean, I understand and agree, with the money thing, but, the purpose of the law is to deter acts but we don't want to use it, especially with these young kids. I mean, let's be realistic. They're going to be out experimenting. Do we want to ruin their life with an offense like that? I would definitely be interested in probation and fines. And then maybe, who knows, counseling if it's a problem or if it's deemed, because we need to let them know that it is an offense, but we're willing to work with you, not just to tear up your life.
The whole idea behind this ordinance is to prevent their lives from being ruined. If this is not acceptable to the court, they will simply end up charging under the misdemeanor, which has far more severe consequences, far more expenses, and probably greater than or equal to the fine at the bare minimum.
Just to confirm, the age range we're talking about here is 14 to 17, right?
This is for everybody.
Everybody, okay.
Okay, and I know this is the same question I asked before, if we don't, let's say we say, no days, that's what we want, and so that's not what the judge wants, right? So he's gonna recommend to the police to charge them with a misdemeanor, and then the police can decide not to charge, or charge them with a misdemeanor?
So he's not going to enforce the local ordinance. He's not going to hold people liable for that. And the decision to charge is one that is really directed by the district attorney. But the question of whether the ordinance is enforceable is a question for the district justice.
I think maybe relatedly, right, at what point does it come before Judge Pendolino, right? So someone is, someone is caught in possession of
of small amounts of marijuana or drug paraphernalia. And at one point, right, it was in the officer's discretion, I thought, right? So to write it up as a summary offense, as a fine, or to send it to court.
Correct.
So there's like that first opportunity at the kind of point of interaction with a police officer where they can kind of send it one way or the other. And then this is if they send it the other, right? So this is if they send it to the judge and it's in front of the judge.
So they have the opportunity as a summary offense just to pay the fine. They don't go in front of the district magistrate if it's under the summary offense. If they choose to either not respond or they fail to pay in some capacity, then it goes in front of
It
Judge
gets turned
Pendleton.
over to
Correct.
the judge. So that's what we're talking about, is the point where it gets
Correct.
turned over to the judge.
Yes.
It's not in the Meadville Police Department anymore.
Correct.
It's, okay,
Similar
okay.
to a
That is-
traffic ticket. If you
Right. So it's like similar to
guilty and pay.
we talked about booting and like where we intervene, it's like the same
Correct.
process of
Yeah.
like, is it within our own department? Or what's it- Okay, that is very helpful
Parking
to
fine
me.
too,
Yep,
right?
yep,
Like
yep.
it goes to the magistrate.
It's a parking ticket first,
Yeah.
and then once you
And then it
kind of
goes.
ignore
It's a
it.
speeding ticket. If you fail to pay, then you're gonna go to the court and have a hearing about that.
And can people, so, right, they get a summary offense of maybe $300, you know, however, and if they enter into a payment plan, do they do that with the police department?
They'll go to the magistrate.
They would go to the
do that.
magistrate.
But they don't have to appear in front of the district magistrate to do that. They can go right to one of the clerks and they'll set that
They can
up.
just come in
Okay.
during hours of operation and just say, I'm trying to
Correct.
pay this off over time, and, okay.
And the fine could be less than 300, could it not?
No, it's.
No, it's
It's 300.
It's fixed at 300?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can and this is on a different subject, sorry. It says amounts of marijuana and drug paraphernalia.
Related to marijuana.
Okay, to me, right, like that says, I have a small amount of marijuana and a needle with fentanyl, in it, right, like that had fentanyl, you know what I mean, like drug paraphernalia is, you know, maybe we should put related to, or,
Well, that definition is
that's what it says, like.
that's the state definition of drug paraphernalia.
It seems though, right, like it seems like it can be misconstrued in different ways, just as a drug paraphernalia.
It has been.
Yeah.
And those charges that are not related to marijuana paraphernalia have been thrown out if the officer was to try to charge under a summary.
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
So if someone has paraphernalia related to
Something else.
something aside from marijuana, if the officer were to try to charge under the summary offense,
Just write your
it has
ticket.
been thrown out by the judge.
The summary offense, the ticket, has been thrown out.
Correct.
Because there is kind of accompanying,
Well, if you look at the definition and the impact of the drug paraphernalia, so it's means any device, instrument, apparatus, or object which is used for the purpose of doing all those things or otherwise introducing marijuana into the human body. Now that language there that is underlined is the language that complies with the state code provisions. So if it's a piece of paraphernalia that is used for introducing a different drug into the body, they can't charge under this. They don't have that leeway.
And that's why we're changing it, right?
And it will be thrown out, but yeah.
I would be curious too, like to know, I think like an update on like how many times have we gone with the summary offense rather than it gone to the court? Like what kind of volume of people are we talking about who haven't been able to pay or are refusing to pay? Are they refusing to show? You know, like I'd be interested to have maybe more context too, to like understand the like magnitude, you know, to like how many people we're actually talking about and like how frequently this is happening. Can we get that?
Yeah.
That would help me, I think.
Is everybody good on getting the information? Is that good? Okay. I'm not sure I like the way this is set up. I don't look this way hardly at all. Yeah. Well, I just,
reposition the camera.
Okay, public comment on non-agenda items?
None.
Council member statements? Are you supposed to be sitting in that seat?
I believe so, I do know.
Okay, you're okay. You can sure sit in your seat.
Love them, sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna start with you. If that's okay. Do you have a statement at all at the end of this meeting? No? No? Okay.
All right.
Jim?
Nothing at this time.
Right on. Gretchen?
They're saving time for my statement.
Yes.
It's the 20th anniversary of the mark.
More than 20.
More than 20.
50.
Oh my God, I was gonna say.
Time flies when you're
50.
having Mark 4 fun.
So they're doing a 50 for 50, and the MARF, the foundation that is trying to establish, well, it has an endowment, but they're trying to increase that. They're trying to raise $150,000 this year, so that in 50 years, when you guys are my age, my peers of the junior city council, you'll be sitting here going, wow, we raised $7 million for the MARC, which is I know, it's just kind of a weird thing to realize that 50 years from now, I'll be in the ground, but you guys may be sitting here going, look what we did, we raised these funds. So to that end, I hope that everybody here, we have cups and glasses and candy bars out there. So hopefully they're $10 for the hot and cold cups, and the candy bars are $2. There's also a QR code on here, so if you want to just go right now and start donating, they will take any amount. They'll take, you have to do 50 for 50. Tim is already donating $100 a month.
And donating the equivalent of an hour.
The equivalent, yeah, so they have some events planned through, I think Mike's doing a story next month for the big kickoff, I think, right? Is that the paper jumping in next, in March? I
They do a
think.
big,
Or they're planning on
Front
it,
page story.
I think, anyway.
So Gretchen,
So they should.
we know where to get the mugs and stuff, and we have this in front of us.
Yeah.
Where does the public, like anybody watching, where do they get the QR
Go to
code
the-
and where they?
You go to the MARC.
They go to
They're
Mark,
there.
is it on the website too?
It's on their website, and they have, you get refills, very cheap refills there if you use the refreshment stand there at the MARC. You can get any other information. There's possibly some other fun events happening to be announced throughout the spring and summer. Trying to think, yeah, and honestly, the rec, like Jamie, you could probably speak to that maybe, your kids working there. It's had a huge impact on my life moving here, I mean, because I swim there, watch hockey.
I remember going there when I was young, and we didn't have a car, so we'd have to walk back. But I remember every time we went swimming, because I don't skate, because I'm terrible at it. But we'd go swimming, and we'd walk home, and it'd be cold, right, this time of year. And my mom would always have chicken soup ready for us. But it was so fun, and with frozen hair and cold, and then all your friends were there. I even had birthday parties there, and then my kids worked there. And they grew up there all summer, right? It's an asset to our community, and we have to keep it. We have to keep it up and running, doing well, so that future generations can use that pool and play hockey and swim on swim teams, and so it's very important
Yeah,
to our community.
thank you. That's my statement.
Right on, Larry.
No.
Right on. Autumn.
yeah, I got a list. We had a parking town hall. I don't know, have we met since then?
No.
We haven't met since then. It was really well attended. People care a lot about parking in Meadville, and I think it's really great that we had space for people to share that care, and for everyone to hear from Peter and now know Peter. I've got a direct line of communication for all of their parking related concerns. So go to Peter and not me, please. Just kidding. But no, it was good. I think that in particular it was, it wasn't like clean, right? I think I appreciate that we were inviting people into the messy work of government and of democracy, and saying we don't necessarily have an answer, but we're working towards one, and like what's important to you. And so I think that I'm glad that we had it. I'm glad that we could kind of invite people into that, to kind of see all of the very like complicated variables that we're weighing. And I appreciate Peter for just holding down intense space, but it was great. And thanks to the library for staying open for us. Sad update, I guess. I got word from the Crawford Community Heritage Foundation, we did not get our little spending pot for the junior council person program, and I'm sorry, but so we will have to fundraise, just like Gretchen's doing for the Mark, if you have any ideas that you want to see happen. So, or if anyone wants to give to a special fund for the junior council people, maybe we can set it up, but no luck. Thanks a lot, Community Foundation. Just kidding. They give a lot of great, whatever. Yeah, we're grateful. On Monday night, 5:30 to 7, there is a community listening session as part of our preparation for the WalkWorks grant. So we want to hear from folks about their experience walking, biking, rolling around town, using the bus, and we'll also talk to people about what we're going after, what an active transportation plan entails. Peter will do that too. So that's 5:30 to 7 at the library upstairs. There will be refreshments. The city, we did get approved for a shared energy manager. We've been assigned a shared energy manager. This is like additional capacity to do some kind of energy conservation, maybe some clean energy projects. I've brought up the solar projects a lot, but like no one has taken the kind of lead to get us over the finish line, and that's partly my fault. So anyway, just speaks to, I think, the needed capacity there, and so hopefully a shared energy manager won't be able to do all the things that we've got in the works, but we'll add a little bit of capacity, and we're working with who's the firm? It's local firm that is
Wilson Engineering.
Wilson Engineering, who's like who the state uses for this, and we are just lucky enough to be their home community, so that'll be nice. And that's kind of kicking off tomorrow. I think that kicks off soon. So hopefully we'll be able to see some of these projects we've been talking about, at least one of them, move. And that'll be great. Last thing that I will share is that there is an effort underway. We're exploring ways we can build community wealth in Meadville, Pennsylvania, to benefit all of us. As part of that, the college's Center for Political Participation, their students are helping out with that programming, and they will present a talk in Tippy on February 15th at 12:30. It'll be Elizabeth Smith from Accutech talking about their ESOP structure, their employee stock ownership plan structure. They have an ESOP model. C&J is 100% ESOP now. So that is the one kind of mechanism for building wealth in a community. So that'll be a great talk. I do think lunch is provided. So 12:30 in Tippy. And Anastasia's playing now at the Academy Theater, and I'm operating one of the spotlights, so come and check it out.
Oh, yeah, I heard the spotlight was incredible.
That's really good. The one on stage left on the last 2 weekends is particularly on point. It's very illuminating. Okay, great, thanks.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
First, I went to the Economic Progress Alliance, and they gave us an update on what they're some of the things that they're doing, and the trail that they have, the walking trail that they have, that'll go around Bessemer, right? That is supposed to be like completed in June.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So that is a cool thing, right? That'll be completed. I thought that was awesome. And also, nobody mentioned it. It is Black History Month, so I wanted to make sure everybody realized, right, that it's Black History Month. Learn something new, understand what city you live in, right, and that we are a very cool place to be Black, right? So 2nd District was one of the first integrated schools in the state, right? Don't let anybody tell you that we're not progressive and we're not a cool place to be. So I'm very excited because people start learning about Black history, right? And although it is American history, people take a focus on Black history this month. So use all 28 days and get to know some Black people, right?
29.
29, oh, 29 days this year, right?
School
So,
special bonus.
you know, find one of us and get to know us, right? We're here. We've been here for a long time. So I think that's cool. learn some Black history. And right on, I'm gonna move to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion?
I don't think we should.
Right. Roll call.
McKnight,
Aye.
Myers,
Aye.
Roa,
Aye.
Vogel,
Aye.
Kinder.
Aye.